short video, I'll be talking about the Primordial Jade Winged Spear, as you can see on the screen. And this video is meant to be kind of an evergreen video, so it's not specifically talking about it in terms of xiao, but it is talking about it in terms of all polearm users and as a weapon neutrally compared to other weapons in the game as of 2.7 moving forward. So basically, this is meant to be kind of neutral, so as neutral as possible, let's say. Anyway, I just posted a video about Yelan's review as well as her weapon, Aqua Simulacra, in a similar way to this video, how it's going to be laid out. It's going to be just comparing that bow to other bows, so check those out if you're interested and feel free to leave me comments. Subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell. That would be much appreciated. Thank you guys so much. So let's get into it. So as you can see, and as we already know, this Jade Winged Spear is Xiao's best in-slot weapon. Of course, this is a standard banner weapon. It is available already on the standard banner. And also, when you lose the 50-50 on the weapon banner of any kind, you have a chance to get this as well as a standard 5-star weapon. This game has been in the game since the this weapon has been in the game since the very beginning. And so, for good reason, it's an amazing and cool looking weapon, right? And as you can see, it has an awesome crit rate substat. It's not the highest, but it has a high base attack. It also has an attack-focused passive. Of course, the stacks can get very high, max 7, right? And also, keeping in mind, though, because of the fact that this is a standard weapon and it has been around for the beginning, you might be able to get it to high refines. Even I have a second one now, but I didn't bother to refine it because I actually don't personally use Xiao. Nothing against him, but I just don't personally use him well on PS5. So there are other characters I prefer using over him, and that's why I'm not going to refine this one into that one, and I actually stopped building it as well until another polearm user comes in the game where I want to give this to them. That's how good it is in that sense. It's so universal. Now, is this the best polearm in the game? No, I wouldn't say so. I would argue that Staff of Homa is the best polearm in the game, hands down, because it's a very straightforward bonus that you have for the passive, and it has an awesome crit damage substat, but that's not the point here to compare it that way. It's just really to talk about it in comparison and relative to other bows, other polearms. Sorry, I keep talking about bows because I just talked about Aqua Simulacra. So independently, this polearm, I almost said it again. This polearm would do well even on, like, for example, like Zhongli. It can do well on Hu Tao. It can do well on any of your sub DPS and DPS focused damage outputting polearm users that are going to be on the field for a period of time. Excuse me. And that's because you want to get the maximum stack, so they have to be on the field. So an on-field DPS or sub DPS polearm user would benefit the most from this. Yeah, so that's how it would go. How does it stack up to the Staff of Homa, since I already talked about it? The Staff of Homa is a better weapon overall in the sense that the stacks don't take as long to build. Actually, there is no stacking, basically, as you can see in the passive. It's a straightforward HP increase and an attack bonus based on the max HP. That's all that it is. There is no stacking, so that's why this is a more universal weapon that is more suitable for more characters. And as we already know from when this first launched and on all that, it was a very hard weapon to get, but I was super lucky that I got 2 of them back to back way back in the first time it debuted last year, so I'm super lucky. But yes, I would say that the best polearm in the game is the Staff of Homa still. But secondly, I think this is quite up there, but it's arguable because some people also say that the catch is quite up there, and I agree, the catch is quite good. So now that we're talking about the catch, this is very universal. This one, make sure you go and get those fishes because this is an amazing weapon, because even Shangling uses it really well, which is why I gave it to her. I did extensive videos talking about comparing this weapon to the Engulfing Lightning and also the Skyward Spine. These 3 weapons are always interchangeable among certain characters, but specifically Shangling and Raiden Shogun benefit the most from the catch, and it's amazing. So make sure you go and catch those fishes. I know it's really annoying, and some people don't even want to, but I think that it's worth it, especially when you increase your damage output. It's amazing. So I would say, yes, the best 5-star weapon, polearm, is Staff of Homa, then the Primordial Jade Jade Winged Spear. And then 4-star weapon, I think the best one is probably going to be the catch. Now, where does the Engulfing Lightning come in? This is a very niche weapon. This will do well also on Shangling, but obviously if you have Raiden Shogun, it should only go to Raiden Shogun. I don't think you would want to give this to any other character, to be very honest. It's universal because it has energy recharge on it, but this is meant for Raiden Shogun's kit because she's meant to be using the Emblem of Severed Fate set, so that's why it's best for her. And similarly, I've also kitted out my Shangling to be Emblem Severed Fate as well. That's why it would be interchangeable, these 2 weapons. Moving along, Skyward Spine is an amazing weapon as well. I mean, people might be thinking, no, this is not as good, it's crap. But you know what? Skyward Spine and Skyward series of weapons is a very universal 5-star series, and most characters can benefit from them because they're easy to use. You get a tiny crit rate bonus and you get a tiny attack bonus, but it's not horrible, you know, honestly, it's not that bad. And you get a good energy recharge bump, okay? And even Xiao, for example, would benefit from this because Xiao has energy issues, okay? A lot of characters do. As you can see, I gave it to Shenhe and she does well with this. In fact, Shenhe does really well even with Favonius Lance. So it's not like, you know, so this is not a bad weapon to have, hands down, okay? I at one point had this on my Toma as well, okay? And also even on my Rosaria. So, you know, there are those as well. Okay, moving along. I believe that's all the 5-star one. Oh, there's Vortex Lanquisher, which I don't own, and that's Zhongli's signature weapon. However, in my opinion, the Staff of Homa beats the Vortex Lanquisher. And one previous streamer, Demon Kim, I'm just giving him a shout out because when I first started the game, I was watching some of his videos. He no longer does Genshin Impact videos, I believe, or he stopped before at least. And I haven't seen any more since. But you know, he invested money into buying the Vortex Lanquisher for Zhongli and has an R5, and then Staff of Homa came out with Hu Tao's banner, I think 1.3 last year, and then it already like made the Vanquisher obsolete in his opinion. So that's why I know other people who have spent more money in the game, they already tested it out that Staff of Homa is better. But Vortex Vanquisher is a good weapon. If you have Vortex Vanquisher though, I would say, and you have Zhongli, I would probably say give that to Zhongli since it's his signature weapon. It's not going to be, this is better, but then if you have, say, Hu Tao as well, and you only have one Homa, I mean, I was lucky I got two, so I split them up instead. But yeah, like then, you know, then Zhongli would be using Vortex, and then Hu Tao should use Homa, right, ideally. But in my case, I was lucky and I got two, so obviously, and I don't have Vortex, so there you go, I gave it to Zhongli. It worked out. All right, moving along, we're talking about the craftables now. So this is a craftable from Inazuma, and this is not like the greatest thing. Most people put it on Toma, if you have Toma, because Elemental Mastery to give him the reactions for his Pyro aspect. It's okay, it's not the best, but I do have this on Toma because I have no one else to give it to. And I would say most of the other characters, as you can see, don't really benefit from the Elemental Mastery. Like, I wouldn't put this on Xiao, for example. I wouldn't really put it on Shenhe, because she would want the energy instead, right? I wouldn't put this on, like, Zhongli, Raiden, or Hu Tao, or Xiangling, right? So, I mean, you could argue this could go well on Xiangling, but Xiangling benefits more from the catch, for example, because of the burst damage, because that's her primary damaging kit, her damaging skill. So, yeah. And then Yunjin, I gave her Favonius because she has energy issues and needs as well. Favonius is not a bad weapon to have. Again, with Favonius series weapons, they're very placeholder and very user-friendly, and free-to-play friendly, and low spend and early game friendly. However, in order to get the passive to be sustainable, you will need to have crit rate increase so that she can get more energy back. Because in order to get the passive, you have to have crit hits only to get the extra energy particles. Okay, moving along, the death match. Now, I'm trying to get this to R5, so I should, by the end of 2.7, I should be able to get another one because I did get the battle pass. So I'm trying to get this to R5 eventually. But anyway, the Deathmatch is an amazing weapon. Actually, it's comparable to the Primordial Jade Winged Spear as a 5-star. This is the 4-star, of course. Now, of course, this is Battle Pass locked, so you do need to buy the Battle Pass in order to get this. Now, this is an amazing weapon. The stacking mechanism is not as like severe, let's say, as the Jade Spear, but the mechanism here is pretty straightforward. As if there's more than 2 enemies nearby, then you get a flat bonus, right, and for your attack and your defense. And if there's less, then you get an attack bonus. It's pretty straightforward, so that's why this is an amazing weapon with a crit rate substat. The base attack is lower, of course, but the crit rate is pretty high. It's higher than this one, actually, but this one has a higher base attack too. So yeah, it's great. Now, the Black Cliff series, these are very good placeholder weapons. I actually had this on a variety of characters before. Obviously, as you can see right now, it is not being used by any character, but this is a great weapon to have for any character because it's a great stat stick with a high crit damage substat, like 55%. It's pretty good. Now, the only problem in caveat is that the passive requires you to kill enemies, so therefore this will not apply when you're fighting like a lone elite enemy or a solo enemy, or like those, you know, rune guards, or solo like samurai, kairagis, or even like just any boss battle. You won't get the bonus, so this will be a stat stick only for the crit damage, but it's not bad, with a decent base attack as well. Crescent Pike, it's another craftable, and this is good. It's physical damage. It works the best, basically, at this stage for Rosaria. Rosaria has two options. She can also do the Dragon Spine Spear. They're both physical damage. As you can see, that one has higher physical damage. I didn't level it up yet, obviously, but that one already has higher, even at a lower level. So this one will have more physical damage for her, so this is preferred for her, and also has a cryo aspect to it. But I'll be honest, not many people actually refine this one up. People refine this one up more, and Crescent Pike early game was better for Xiangling, but of course Catch came out and Catch just blew everything out of the water. So I would just say Crescent Pike is still a good weapon, and I gave it to Rosaria instead in this case. Moving along, the Star Glitter. Now this one, many people have kind of skipped this altogether and didn't bother crafting it, but this has been in the game since the beginning, of course. This one is arguably not a bad weapon. This people have used it even on Zhongli before too, because you know what? If you want to use them, depending on how you use them, I use them as a burst DPS, but also as a support, right? But I made him so that he can kill things really fast too. But, this one is good for if you want to bring up his shield more often or burst as well for energy purposes. But yeah, it's for his shield, basically, because you get the actual normal and charge attack after you do the elemental skill. So some people did put this on Zhongli, for example, but this could do well, for example, for even Shenhe. Yeah, Shenhe would do well with this too, because she would use her skill to summon the Cryo Talisman avatar to come out. So then, that's not bad, right? And other characters I can think of off the top of my head with a good skill. I mean, some people do put Prototype, actually, now that we're talking about Xiao, it does have some applicability to him. He has energy issues, and he does have a pretty cool elemental skill where he zooms and, dashes in midair, right? So this is not bad, actually, for him, too. Keep that in mind. Don't sleep on this. If you're free to play early game or low spender and you don't have the 5-star weapons, or you didn't get the 4-star weapons yet, speaking of the catch for Xiao, this is not a bad weapon for him as well. Remember, his burst has a lot of damage, so this is not a bad weapon for him at all, and he does get the energy recharge aspect out of it too. Keep that in mind. But of course, his best weapon is this one, the Primordial Jade Winged Spear. He would also do well with the Skyward Spine and also the Engulfing Lightning and also Steph Homa. Now, moving along, lastly, we have the Favonius Lance. Actually, I already talked about it with Yunjin, so we'll skip that one. We have Lithic Spear. There is no sacrificial polearm, by the way, in case you're wondering. There's no such thing in the game. But there is a Lithic Spear. This is a Li Yue specific regional weapon, and this one comes every so often. It's a special limited series. It's on the current weapon banner. This is good if you can make sure that you have at least 3 out of 4 of your team members are from Li Yue, and also if you can get this to high refines. High refines are defined as R3 and up. If you're just sitting on it at R1, it's not going to give you much of a bonus. Even R3 is kind of low. I would still want this to be R5. I have not leveled this up yet, but I'm collecting it. So maybe eventually, somewhere down the line in the future, it will be an R5 weapon. We'll see. This weapon looks really good for Yunjin, actually, believe it or not. Color-wise and aesthetic-wise, it looks great. And yeah, I would just say this is a good weapon as a collectible. I think that I'm not going hard and heavy for any of the regional weapons, except for I would like to get more of the Inazuma regional weapons, because they actually are really good. Those are burst focus weapons, and so they're actually really good. Yeah, and in closing, that's basically my review of the Primordial Jade Winged Spear. What do you guys think? Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have this or have multiple copies of this, are you guys giving this to your Xiao? Did you guys get Xiao this time around? Were you skipping him? Are you skipping the weapon? Because you can get it on the standard banner as well. Or maybe you gave this to other characters instead. Let me know. I won't be talking about the 3-star weapons because I guess the focus should be on 4 and 5-star only. But yeah, let's just keep it there. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave me comments. Feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. Please check out my other videos. Again, I talked about the Aqua Simulacra in a similar vein to this video where I'm comparing it to other bows. I did a C0 Yalan review. I talked about the banners as well and my thoughts on the banners after they were officially launched. So there's more videos to come. I'll continue to be streaming and chatting as well with other players and viewers out there, and I'll be continuing to bring in other games to the fold to the channel as well. So stay tuned for more from me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.